Hey there guys, welcome back to Ripped Apart. Unfortunately, this saga seems to be never ending at all. Today we have 3 stories for you and 1 follow-up story that realistically is not at all what anyone wants to hear. So let's get into it. In the UK in 2017, in the heart-rending saga of a grandparent's quest for justice and reunion, the narrative unfolds in a relentless cascade of despair and disillusionment. Entrusted with the care of their beloved grandchildren, the grandparents' journey through the labyrinth of bureaucracy and familial strife becomes a testament to the harrowing realities faced by countless families ensnared in the throes of child welfare systems. The initial call to action, driven by a fervent desire to protect vulnerable grandchildren placed on the at-risk register, morphs into a nightmarish ordeal as the parents' relentless pursuit to regain custody thrusts the grandparent into a maelstrom of conflict. Despite the grandparents' unwavering commitment to safeguarding the children, social services directives to surrender custody to the parents, coupled with the spectre of potential danger in involving law enforcement, plunge them into a profound moral quandary. As the grandparent valiantly defends their stance against a backdrop of deceit and manipulation orchestrated by social services themselves, the toll of years of separation from their cherished grandchildren becomes an unbearable burden. Kinship assessments fraught with promises and potential reunification serve only to mock the grandparents, enduring hope as each passing day heralds yet another agonizing reminder of their shattered dreams. The meager solace found in sporadic correspondence from one grandchild, overshadowed by directives to conceal the grandparents' role in their lives, serves as a stark reminder of the insurmountable barriers erected by a system bent on erasing familial bonds. The grandparents' futile struggles within the labyrinth of legal proceedings, compounded by exorbitant costs and the relentless onslaught of despair, offer no respite from this relentless march of time. In the absence of any glimmer of hope, the grandparents' narrative becomes a poignant testament to the inherent cruelty and injustice perpetuated by a system plagued by systematic failures and the institutional callousness. As they grapple with the relentless onslaught of despair, the unwavering love for their grandchildren serves as a beacon of resilience in the face of insurmountable odds. A silent testament to the enduring power of familial bonds that transcend the confines of legal wrangling and bureaucratic indifference. In this case, OP says social services actually did attempt to help. It is certainly unusual to hear that, it really is. OP has spent literally thousands of pounds in legal costs, but it has not helped at all. The grandparents are left with the grief of knowing they may never see their grandchildren again. Nowhere has it mentioned their ages, but when those grandchildren are old enough, there unfortunately is absolutely no guarantee that the grandparents will still be with us, and that is heartbreaking. But throw in the fact the grandchildren may never reach out too, just knowing all the effort may be fruitless anyway, is absolutely shocking. As parents, we teach our children and their children that family will always be there for them. The sad part is, not every family member will. In the UK in 2020, a mother and her child lived in a modest house shaded by ancient oak trees. They shared a bond forged in the crucible of adversity. But behind closed doors, they harbored dark secrets, one that threatened to consume them both. For over a decade, the mother endured the torment of an abusive relationship with her former partner. She tried to shield her children from the horrors, but the scars ran deep, etched into their souls by years of fear and pain. Despite her pleas for help, social services turned a blind eye, minimizing the ongoing abuse and dismissing the child's cries for protection. The child, now a young soul with haunted eyes, bore the weight of their trauma silently. Nightmares plagued their sleep, and they often woke drenched in sweat, trembling with fear. They refused to be alone with their other parent, their small frame recoiling at the mere mention of their name. Yet, social services insisted there was no abuse. There were no issues. A mere childish fantasy. As the years passed, the child's behavior grew increasingly erratic. They lashed out at those around them, the tiny fist clenched in anger. The mother watched helplessly as her child struggled to cope with the memories that haunted every waking moment. But despite their suffering, social services remained indifferent, dismissing the mother's pleas for intervention as mere exaggeration. The cycle of abuse seemed never-ending, a relentless storm that threatened to engulf them both. The mother felt like a solitary voice crying out in the darkness, her words falling on deaf ears. Twice, accusations of parental alienation were hurled her way, a cruel twist of fate that only added to her despair. But the mother refused to give up hope. With unwavering determination, she fought tooth and nail to protect her child from the demons that lurked in the shadows. She sought solace in the love that both of them shared, a bond forged in the fires of adversity. One fateful day, as the mother cradled her child in her arms, the young soul whispered words that sent shivers down her spine. "I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to run away, far away, where they can't hurt us." The mother's heart shattered into a million pieces, the weight of her child's pain crushing her soul in that moment. But in that moment, she made a vow to her child. "I vowed to break the chains of silence and reclaim their lives." With renewed determination, the mother reached out to every resource available, refusing to be silenced any longer. She found allies in unexpected places, compassionate souls who believed their story and offered a glimmer of hope in their darkest hour. In this case, it seems OP has left behind the barbed wire of a violent relationship only to have their accounts fall on deaf ears, to the point where social services dismissed her accounts and pretty much said, "We teach kids not to lie. Adults should already know not to do that." In this case, social services never helped, even going so far as to suggest the child be in the custody of the abusive parent. It seems social services have created an issue, one they simply refuse to see or fix. As far as they are concerned, there's no abuse. There's no date shared on this one, no location either, but I imagine it's in the UK. In a world where justice often seems elusive, one mother found herself embroiled in a battle against a system riddled with corruption and indifference. With unwavering determination, she fought tooth and nail to protect her children from the clutches of deceit and manipulation. It began with forged documents, a sinister scheme crafted to undermine her and exploit her vulnerabilities, but she refused to be swayed, standing firm in her resolve to seek truth and justice. When confronted with bribery, she stood her ground again, refusing to betray herself and her principles for the sake of convenience. Yet the harassment persisted, relentless in its pursuit to break her spirit. Undeterred, she filed a formal complaint, shining a light on the dark underbelly of corruption that plagued the system meant to protect her and her children. But instead of accountability, she was met with apathy and indifference. The wheels of justice grinding to a halt in the face of institutional corruption. In a final act of desperation, they invoked a Section 47 without legal justification, a blatant abuse of power designed to strip her of her rights and tear her family apart. But she refused to be silenced, her voice ringing out in defiance against the injustice that threatened to consume her. Her children, forced to flee their homeland in search of safety and freedom, became unwitting victims of a system that valued deception over truth. Yet, even in exile, their mother's love remained a beacon of hope, guiding them through the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. Armed with the courage of her convictions, she continued to fight, determined to hold those responsible accountable for their actions and crimes. She reached out to the highest members of authority, collecting evidence and building a case against the corrupt forces that sought to destroy her family. As an individual on the autism spectrum, she navigated the complexities of the legal system with clarity and precision, refusing to be overwhelmed by the daunting task before her. And though the road ahead was fraught with challenges, she remained steadfast in her pursuit of justice, and her unwavering determination served as a glimmer of hope for all who dared defy the forces of corruption. In this case, I am just getting a "we don't care" vibe from the local authority. The fact here is they are corrupt and have been ripping families apart without consequence for many, many years. It is truly hurtful. Not a single social worker looks at what they do and say, "This is wrong." Instead, they go the extra mile to ensure parents are on their knees. This is a part 2 to a story that has been told before. In the wake of the heart-wrenching tale of stolen innocence in Ripped Apart Selection 4, a new chapter unfolds, revealing a harrowing journey of a mother thrust into the depths of despair and injustice. As the case winds its way through the corridors of the legal system, the mother finds herself ensnared in a web of torment, both mental and physical, that threatens to suffocate her spirit. Behind prison walls, she faces the relentless onslaught of false accusations and bullying. Her cries for justice echoing in the silence of her confinement. Even friends and strangers alike are moved to declare the injustice of her plight. Their voices a chorus of solidarity in the face of tyranny. Amidst the chaos, the mother clings to one glimmer of hope, fueled by the unwavering support of those who believe in her innocence. But the road ahead is fraught with challenges. As she navigates the treacherous waters of a legal system that seem bent on her destruction, with courage as her compass, she presses forward, determined to shed light on the miscarriage of justice that has robbed her of her freedom. From the confines of a cell, she reaches out to those who will listen, pleading for exposure of the truth that lies buried beneath layers of deceit. Arrests made and then dropped, accusations hurled without cause. Each twist and turn in the labyrinthine journey of her case only serves to deepen the injustice she faces. Yet, in the face of adversity, she remains resolute, her spirit unbroken by the weight of oppression. As her story unfolds, it becomes clear that hers is a battle not just for herself, but for all who have been wronged by a system that has lost sight of its duty to dispense justice fairly and impartially. With every passing day, her courage becomes a beacon of hope for those who dare challenge the status quo, inspiring others to join the fight for truth and accountability. In the shadow of her confinement, a movement is born. A movement fueled by fervent belief that no one should suffer at the hands of injustice. And though the road ahead may be long and perilous, the mother stands undaunted, a symbol of resilience and defiance in the face of tyranny. That particular story was a follow-up to Stolen Innocence, originally available in Ripped Apart Selection 4. In this we see the mother has been pretty much locked away from her children. It seems that she has been bullied completely for no reason at all other than she has been. In the original story we hear of the ex-foster carer outside her home, a place where her and her children call safe. It just goes to show you that a lot of the people that do come forward with these stories do have deeper and more hidden problems. In this case, the problems being not of OP, but the people surrounding them. I was personally told this by a friend of OP's. I've decided to share it on here simply because people need to hear the story. People need to hear that they have been literally taken away from their remaining children. I don't see why they would have done that. I really don't. So these stories are from real people going through real issues. And the unfortunate thing is, after a family is ripped apart, the parents are left with less family and still the pieces to pick up. They can scream and moan all they like, but the only people that listen are those that have lived it. And they can only say things like, it gets better. The really sad part is nobody wants it to get better. They need it to be better. They need their children to be better. So that's everything from me for now. But be assured, this will not be the last story of a mother or father feeling and being ripped apart. See the description for a way to send me your stories. And for now, I bid you farewell.